What's up, guys? I'm Anna.
I'm Christina, and welcome to The Sample Effect.
This is going to be a collection of stories that explore the people, places, and things that make our culture what it is. We'll also discuss the challenges of being original in a time full of creatives.
Through this series, we'll be sitting down with some dope people who give us insight on their creative journeys, as well as mini tutorials on how they do what they do.
On today's episode, we have Akil Augustine. He is the face of everything basketball and Raptors related in the city.
Let's go Raptors! We are
All right, Akil, so we know you as the multifaceted creator and storyteller. What exactly do you do, and what do you position yourself as?
Well, primarily my day job is a producer of content for Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. And with that, they gave me the opportunity to create my own TV show called The Hangout, which is a basketball topical show. We also do court surfing, which is we jump back and forth between all the hot NBA games. I'm also the courtside reporter for the Raptors 905 and the in-game host for the Toronto Argos, the official MC for Nike's Crown League, and I recently launched my very own podcast.
That's a lie. So if you think you're tired, our research tells us that a lot of this is rooted from you starting on your couch.
Well, it's a funny story for me personally. I've always wanted to be a traditional broadcaster, and I was given the opportunity at about 29 years old to be the youngest pre-game show host for a team. So I was hosting the Toronto Raptors pre-game show on NBA TV. My affinity for sneaker culture kind of caught up with me. I ended up wearing a pair of Penny Hardaway Weathermen on set with a suit. I thought it looked good. The executive producers didn't. So the morning after that happened, I got an email telling me that I was no longer the host of the Toronto Raptors broadcast.
Oh no.
So I went home and I was pretty depressed. I took all the money out of my bank account and bought a couple of cameras. I bought a new couch and I bought a computer. And I started blogging with my friends, and the same people that ended up firing me for the Raptors pregame show asked me to develop it into a piece of content for NBA TV, and that ended up becoming The Hangout.
But that sounds like a full circle story.
Yeah, it was crazy because it was my dream to do what I was doing that day. And now when I look back, it was the best thing to happen to me. What I'm doing now is so much more dope. The digital space has allowed me to find a way to provide for myself without selling out some of the things I think that made me me.
So let us know, or let creators know, like what challenges came with that and the trials and tribulations that no one talks about or it doesn't really showcase in the final product.
I think the first thing is you're taking a risk. And so you gotta have a tremendous amount of obsession. There were about 4 or 5 years just doing different various projects where I was not sleeping because I still had a full-time job and I still had to film all night and I had to edit all night. And I wasn't a very experienced editor. I wasn't very good. You know, like make sure you're really obsessed about this thing because I spent many a nights crying. You know, I spent many a night not eating because I needed to get extra tape. So I think if you're not obsessed, if you're not inherently or internally supremely motivated, what's being asked is too much if you're just not focused.
So what advice would you give to somebody who is aspiring to be in your position? Did it even exist before you had it?
No, I was a liar. I used to lie to people and tell them, like, I remember like 3 years.
You're still a liar.
Yeah, 3 years before I was a producer, I was telling people I was a producer. 2 years before I had my own TV show, I was telling people I had my own TV show. I really had a vision, and I think that's something I think young people should have. I'm a huge believer in the law of attraction and manifestation.
Yeah.
And from where I started to be here right now, I mean, I feel like it's true.
You're now adding another thing to your list, which is a podcast. But
Yeah.
also goes back to the basics of you. Tell us a little bit about that.
All right, well, the podcast is called The Toronto Show Podcast. And I mean, there's two real reasons I'm doing it. First off, reps and repetition. Shouts out to Nike. Reps and repetition. Do not use that footage. I really have a lot to say. I need to talk about different things. I've been doing basketball for 15 plus years, and I want to really talk about different things and share some of my insights. And the second part is, I feel as Canadians, we watch a lot of like Breakfast Club, Ebro in the Morning, and TMZ, and so there's so much content online that speaks to our culture but doesn't speak to our country. It's a long-term goal, but I really feel like if we're just consistently present as a voice for people to turn to, it could turn into something.
Akil, it sounds like you're doing so much. I know you're doing a ton because every time I want to hang out, you're busy. But that's not true. But how do you keep up with so many overlapping projects, and what does a typical day look like?
Wow, there's no typical day, unfortunately. And I think because I've been doing this for most of my life, I've come accustomed to it. I'm not much of a creature of schedule and habit. I think the most important thing for me in doing everything that I do is meditation. Whenever I'm required to be somewhere, I'm required to be like lit, like 100% live. If I'm not in the mood that people expect me to be in, there's gonna be a lot of questions. So I think I take my mental health pretty seriously. And I think I've been fortunate that with the projects I have chosen, I've chosen projects that are important to me and that kind of revolve around my life. But it's difficult. I mean, on Sundays I'm at Raptors practice. On Saturdays there might be a game. On Tuesdays we do the podcast and the production meeting for the Hangout. On Wednesdays we do the Hangout and the production meeting for court surfing, and we record court surfing. Well, Thursdays is all social media. It just changes.
All right, guys, so you heard Akil. He took us through a rough kind of schedule as to what his day-to-day looks like. But today we're gonna take you behind the scenes of 2 shows on NBA TV, which is
Court surfing and the Hangout.
All right, so tune in, we're gonna take you there. And yeah, stay posted.
Hangout!
Hello everyone, welcome to Court Surfing. It's
Hard fouls!
5 teams, Brooklyn and Orlando will finish between 3 and 4. You don't like thinking about yourself. Do you understand all that?
I know the most important part is the Knicks need a win. Alright. With great power comes great responsibility. Shout out to Uncle Ben and Spider-Man. Hey! That's danger!
He looks pretty good.
That's danger! I think that's sick. Everyone's like, he's not gonna be able to play. And he's been sick.
That needs to be on a billboard.
And this is the control room where we produce everything. These are all the feeds. And then I can just like do this. Hello? Rod, Todd, this is God. The magic of television.
We're missing a host right now.
Oh, I should get in there, eh?
Probably.
My bad. And as you'll notice right now, we got a hot set. 4, 3.
Basketball fans, today on the Hangout after a full 82-game regular season.
And we now know who the Toronto Raptors have in the first round of the playoffs. It's the Orlando Magic.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you took any insight away from our episode from Akil, make sure to tag him. Make sure to tag us. We want to hear and see what you guys learned from this episode. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Akil, for being here.
Man, it was fun.
Comment, like, and subscribe.
Yeah.